Welcome everyone to Influence with Integrity, this week's mini masterclass. And today I'm not talking about saying the right thing to get the outcome. And that's something that we've been for a very long time conditioned that we have to say this in order to persuade and influence people. And what I want to talk about is leading in this new way, because it's about becoming the kind of woman whose presence is the outcome. And in a world full of performance and persuasion tactics, there's this new kind of influence rising, one that requires us to really be present, where we're not over explaining, we're not people pleasing or trying to prove. And so that's what I want to talk to you today about. So before we begin, I want to invite you, if it's safe to do so, just to close your eyes and put both of your hands on your heart right now, taking a nice deep breath. Just allowing yourself to be present here right now. For these next 10 minutes, I'm here just to talk through this topic about really influencing with integrity. And this is something like the integrity part, so fine. It's more the influencing part that I've been really stuck around, because there's just so much noise out there. And I want to share with you a little bit about where this stuckness is, and maybe you can see yourself in this. I often believe that I had to earn my influence, and to earn my influence, it meant over preparing, seeking permission, shrinking, not taking up too much space. And I used to think that I had to give everything out there, right? I needed to speak more, sound a lot smarter, until I realized that people weren't moved by perfection or over delivering. They were moved by my presence. They were moved by the stories I would share, the insights and the truth and the realness of who I am as a human being. And I want to talk about some shifts around what defines this new way of leading, where we are leading and influencing, but from a space of integrity. So what led me to talk about today was I actually have this communication book, and I love this prompts me with some different tools and frameworks that have been taught over the years. And this one framework that I kind of lived by for quite some time, which was about the 6 principles of persuasion. And it was by an American psychologist, Dr. Robert Cialdini. I don't know if I'm mentioning his name right. And the first thing I saw was reciprocity. I went, oh yeah, cool. I like this. Like, first off, I'm like, you've won me by the reciprocity. But then when I read what it says here, I start to question it. So let me read this to you. So one of the 6 universal principles that he speaks about of how to persuade someone to accept your suggestion, your ideas, is reciprocity. This is basically the old biblical principle. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Now, if we were to put this into action, it says, if you want to get something, you give something. And the right order is important. Offer something first, then ask for what you want. And for many years, I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Like, give, reciprocity. But here's where I feel like influencing with integrity is then going that next level from that. And that is about giving without attachment. And I really believe that influence with integrity means that I give value, I give my ideas and thoughts, but I don't have an attachment to the outcome. And I really believe that that is a new way of leadership, because I'm sure you all know that we can get so much information out there, right? And obviously I'm going to share ideas and perspectives, teachings, and you're going to share ideas, perspective, and teachings. And it's just easily accessible to everyone. And we shouldn't have to kind of like, I'm going to give you all of this and I expect you then to help me out as well. Because yes, it is that reciprocity. I give unto you as I give to you. But what about if we can still give without the attachment or the expectation of receiving, and to know and to trust that we will be provided for? Mm. So I don't know if this is landing, if this is coming through. Let me just check. Let's see. And if you're here joining me live, I'd love you to say hello and love to hear your thoughts about this. Okay, great. It's coming through. Great, great, great. So let me just grab my notes because I go back to that reciprocity. And the way I've summed it up here is, what about if we give without gripping? What about if we give unconditionally, give without conditions? And not for that to be a how to persuade, how to influence, but how to help and how to support. Because I really believe that influence with integrity is the outcome. And if we start to put conditions on giving, then it's not really giving, is it? I don't believe anyway. Love to hear what your thoughts are with that. I'm going to read the second one for you that he states, and that is authority. We tend to follow the advice of experts. We have more trust in a doctor who is wearing a white coat and displaying diplomas on the wall. So if we were to put that into action, in your area of expertise, find out what that white coat is. Now, the other thing that it speaks about authority is that whole fake it till you make it. Pretend that you are that person or all of that side, and like create the authority, build the authority in a space without integrity. And I see a lot of that, and I'm sure many of you have seen that. But what if we lead with lived authority? And what I mean by that is we speak from a space of embodied knowing. We speak from a space that we've lived, and that we openly speak from the space when we haven't lived that. And when we can do that, it becomes presence over performance. Because this authority you know that these days you can learn so much online. There's so much AI out there that people can make documents that aren't real. Yeah. But lived experience, embodied knowingness, that's what's real. And so the authority is led with lived authority, not one that's fake it till you make it. Right. And, I've spoken to this whole thing of, if you want to become a better speaker, then be that better speaker. And when you can speak from that space of you living your experience, that's when the magic really happens. And if you've ever been in a room and listened to someone speak and you go, I don't know what it is about that person, but I just love it. I love them. I trust them. I see them. I feel their presence. That is someone that is leading with lived authority. It's something that is within them. It's knowingness. It's this knowingness that I know that these are the steps because I've taken those steps. I know that this has worked because I've, been there. I've done that, right? You can relate and connect with people who have lived that experience, right? Because they have that as their knowledge, that as their authority. So the other one, consensus was the other one that he's got here. We are herd people, herd. We do what others do. This is called social proof, right? So if we were to put that into action, if you want someone to do something, show others doing it. So for example, he's got an example. People who bought this book also bought, like for example, social proof could be me with a selfie photo, taking a picture of this book, tagging someone in it. Social proof, right? There's so many people buying the book. Now, social proof is helpful, but it's not enough, right? Emotional resonance far outweighs endless testimonials, right? You want people saying, it's my notes here, you want people saying, I don't know why, but I trust her. There's something there. Excuse me. The people look beyond the testimonials. They look beyond the social proof, because so much of that can be AI generated now. And your resonance, your emotional resonance, and the ability to connect with people through your own words, through storytelling, through vulnerability, whatever it is, will far outweigh the social proof. And the way we do that is we speak so people can feel our words, feel our knowingness. I wonder if any of this is landing for you, or am I just waffling right now? Because what I want to share with you, these other principles of persuasion, scarcity. I mean, isn't this? We all want that which is rare, and we are all afraid to lose what we have. So if we put it into action, it might not be enough to talk about the benefits of your offer. You also need to point at what people will lose if they fail to act. This also holds true if people face change. They are usually scared of what they might lose. Therefore, it's good to tell them what they will lose if they fail to move. Now, society is shifting and changing in this. People are becoming more informed and educated. People know what they're losing. Their heightened awareness is there, right? Because when they come to you, they're ready. They're at that point that they want to change. They want to do something. And this whole scarcity tactic, it's been conditioned in us, and we all do it. I've done it too. Like, okay, here's the deadline, do this or you'll miss out on that. And that's a conditioning, right? And how do we uncondition that, where it's not about scarcity, but it's more about empowering them to make the decision, right? And instead of saying, this is what you'll lose, what if we could speak to, this is what you'll gain? This is exactly by making this choice, this is how you can move forward. This is how making this change will impact your life. And we give from a space of abundance rather from the tactic of scarcity, right? Now, that in itself is a whole shift. It's a whole mindset shift. But if we can paint the desires, or the abundance, I should say, of what someone will gain by taking the steps, not about what they're losing. They're already losing. They know they're losing. They feel like shit because they're losing, or they're not changing. They're not moving forward. We don't need to point that out any further, right? Because think about how that person feels reading that, right? You want to invite them into a space that activates them, that makes them, uplifts them, that they want to be part of, they want to embrace, to be better at. If we constantly go in this scarcity mongering, I don't know. I don't like that energy. I wouldn't want to be in that energy. So this next one, liking. This is the most universal principle. People prefer to say yes to people they like. But who do we like? According to Cialdini, there are 3 factors. We like people who are similar to us. We like people who complement us. And we like people who cooperate us towards a common goal. Now, I would say that is absolutely true. We do like to be around people who are similar to us. But in order for us to grow and lead, we want to be around people who activate us, who stretch us, who maybe challenge our way of thinking, who want to grow us, right? I don't want to be around a space that I get compliments all the time. Absolutely, compliments have its place and its bit, but I much rather be in spaces where people can see how I can grow, or a blind spot I may not be able to see, or be able to stretch me to out of my safe zone, comfort zone. So this liking principle, I reckon it's a safe principle. Like if we're in spaces and places where we're constantly complimented, constantly similar to people who are, there's no diversity of thought. There's no thinking differently. And when we're all that's like herd thinking. We're all thinking the same. I want to be stretched and be thinking about different things. I want to have thought leadership. So if we are going to influence with integrity and lead a new way, you want to be in spaces and places around people who will stretch your ideas, who will stretch your way of thinking, instead of complimenting you and just saying yes, because that's not leadership. That's not leadership. So then there's this other one. This one is consistency. We look up to people who are consistent in their words and behaviors. Put into action, stick to one message, don't follow every trend, be the consistent one. People will remember you for that. I really believe consistency does have a place and a space, particularly in your leadership, but as a leader, you're also evolving, right? And this stick to one message tells me as well that you kind of haven't moved and you're rigid, right? Unless, of course, your message has not shifted and changed and you are supportive of that. But I'm more about be aligned and consistent in your alignment, right? And then actually taking people on that journey, right? So influence with integrity, yes, consistency in your message, but also being aligned in your message and open to sharing when, you know what, you're not aligned with your message. So maybe it's not about sticking to one message and don't follow every trend, but stick to your alignment and take people on the journey. All right. So I hope you got something out of this influence with integrity. I'm still really working through that myself as well, of what is this new way that we influence in this world of noise. There's just so much noise. But I think to sum it all up, being more of who you are and sharing from and leading from lived authority through your own stories, through your own teachings, far outweighs the performance, but being your presence when you are speaking, when you are leading. So that's it for today. And I'd love to hear any ideas and thoughts of that, what I shared. Thanks, beautiful.